Coming up on the Super Review, board member Wanda Paige shares her personal stories and experiences as a teacher in the school district and her thoughts and ideas as a member of the district's academic committee. The district launches a new dual language program that will begin the 2023-24 school year. Hear more about this program and an update on other programs and supports offered to our English language learners. And in How Are the Children, Superintendent Dr. Stubblefield talks with our high school students. You're watching the Super Review.
Hello everyone. Thank you for tuning into the Super Review. I'm Dr. Stubblefield, Superintendent of Schools. As many of you know, the Board of Education plays a vital role in establishing a school structure that supports academic achievement. One of the primary responsibilities of board members is to develop and adopt policies. Today, I have joining me a former teacher in Kansas City, Kansas Public Schools. She currently serves on the board's academic committee, which monitors the development and the implementation of academic programs. Please welcome Ms. Wanda Paige.
Thank you.
Hi, Ms. Paige.
Hi, how are you doing?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm doing fine.
Well, we're excited to have you here today for two reasons. One, to give you an opportunity to talk about your role on the board and the academic committee, but also two, to just share from your experience as a former teacher, things that you may want to highlight so that the community can get to know you as a board member as well as, you know, your former profession. So can you just share with me how many years you taught in the district and differences you may see today, like serving as a board member, like how the classroom is different today than when it was when you were actually teaching just a few short years ago?
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I taught for 30 years in the district. I spent 24 years at Argentine Middle School, 1 year at Coronado Middle School, and then I spent the last 5 years at Central Middle School, and I retired in 2012. And it was always exciting and fun. I taught social studies. My preference was sixth grade world history because I felt sixth graders were more inquisitive, excited, willing to learn. And I also enjoyed seventh grade geography. So basically those were the two things that I taught. And things have changed, whereas I could ask the parent to bring something and they would bring something for the entire class. And they just said, I know what you're trying to do. We like what you're doing. Whatever we can do, we can help you. Not to say that parents don't do that now, but a lot of them are struggling. They really need a lot of help. Mm-hmm. And a lot of times I feel like I'm somebody's grandmother because you're trying to help them, encourage them, lift them up. We can do this. I need your help. We need you. And that's kind of the times have changed. Mm-hmm. And we have to reach out a little more than what we did in the past. And then we got to figure out ways to make everybody feel good about themselves, about the subject matter, working with us. And I just believe the school should be more welcoming, that we want people to feel good, that they know they can go to any school. Someone is there to help you, encourage you. And that's what I try to do. And I ran because I wanted to help. I was trying to think of a way. I joined a lot of civic groups in the community, but we still weren't getting where we needed to be to try to help. And then one day a person said, well, run for the school board. That would give you an opportunity to be at the table in whatever way that you can help. And by having the prior experience of being in the classroom, that'll help you as well. And I just gave it a shot, and I was fortunate, blessed, got on, and now we're just trying to make it work. Your zip code shouldn't determine the type of education you receive. And we believe, and I know you believe, that we got to give our kids the best and help them in any way that we can, help our parents. So that it's nothing greater than when I called a school in Des Moines. I was working on something, and the young lady, I had coached her at Wanda, taught her at Central, and she's now a principal at a school at West Des Moines. She said, Miss Paige, she said, yeah, this is me, I'm doing this, and even if they don't have a big time job, if they're working, taking care of their family, that's what's important. Because I've had a guy, he was managing Pizza Hut. He said, Miss Paige, I'm sorry. You told me, you encouraged me to go to college, but I didn't, that wasn't me. I said, but you're working, you're taking care of your family, you're doing the, that makes us feel good to see you doing something that you want to do. My dream for you may not have been your dream, but the fact that you're working, you're taking care of your family. And he said, you're not mad? No. I've run into kids and they'll say, their kids will say, was my dad bad? And I didn't want to tell the truth. I said, you know, your father had a lot of energy, very creative, nice young man. They said, ma'am, did he pay you? No, he didn't pay me. Your dad's a good man, and he's trying. And I want you to work with your dad. And they left scratching their heads like, did she really tell us? And he winked, thanks, Miss Paige. I said, no problem. Do right by your kids. Help them, love them, work with them. So,
and as a board member, you know, we hear all of those things that you share during the board meetings, and you're always advocating for making sure that our kids have the best opportunities. And one way that you demonstrate that is by being a member of the academic committee, because you're always stressing the importance of our kids having a solid academic foundation. What is your, we have just a few minutes, can you just kind of summarize what your hopes are, the legacy you want to leave around what the academic committee does to close the achievement gaps that we're seeing in our district?
My dream, and I pray to God, that we can have at least 80% of our students proficient. I think we're on the right road, we're doing the right things. I know it hasn't been easy for you because you had to come in. You came into, I don't want to say problems, but there were challenges.
Opportunities.
Yeah. And I like, and you met that with that spirit, and that's good. So we just got to keep pushing, keep working, and just get everybody on the same page. Because again, your zip code shouldn't determine where you are. And we just want them to be proficient. They can read and write and think and do all those things that are necessary to survive. And we're on the right road, and it's going to take some time, but we got to be willing to put the work in. I see that, and I know I fuss a lot. I just want us to do it, and we just got to get everybody on the same page. I want to make sure that I acknowledge our committee chair, Maxine Drew. Janie Humphreys is also on the committee, and we're looking at the data, trying to look at the data, make suggestions. We've also invited parents in, and that's important. They've come in and they've given us suggestions and things. Well, have you ever thought of this or that? But the main thing, when this is over and I'm in the nursing home, I can sit back and read and say, hey, I had a part of that.
That's awesome.
And I want to make this dream a reality, that these kids can learn. They can do anything if they put their mind to it, and we got to believe in them. Absolutely. And that's the biggest thing. We got to believe that they can, they will, and nothing stops them but themselves. You may have some obstacles, but we just still got to keep working to get over them, and they can make it.
Right. So thank you, Ms. Paige, for sharing that. Thank you for your 30 years, more than 30 years of teaching. And thank you for your public service to advocate for the students in the community of Kansas City, Kansas Public Schools.
And my check is in the mail, right?
Your check is in the mail. And you know what? I'm going to double it this time.
I appreciate that.
Thank you.
Okay.
We recognize all of our assistant principals for their hard work and contributions to our students during National Assistant Principal Appreciation Week from April 3rd to April 7th.
I feel like Arrowhead has the best admin team here because of Mrs. Paris and Miss Campbell. They have been my right hands. The running of the building, making sure that the activities are in place.
Miss Campbell and Miss Paris, they're very helpful, caring. Sometimes they walk into class to check up on people, and if you need help and the teachers helping other kids, you can ask them for help and they're willing to help.
The kids love them. They're there in the mornings, greeting the kids. If a kid is coming in and they're having a bad day, they get an opportunity to triage with them.
I'm really thankful for my assistant principals. They help me to make good decisions, and they're really nice and caring. And they give me enough support where it feels like I'm ready to go into high school in 9th grade.
Again, our admin team here at Arrowhead Middle School is the best because I feel like I have the best assistant principals in the district. And I'm just super excited to be able to recognize Mrs. Paris and Miss Campbell.
Thank you for the last 3 years of being helpful.
Thank you, really, because they made me like a better person.
Please take a moment to thank your assistant principals for the important role they play in their positive impact on student achievement. KCKPS is launching a dual language immersion program for students entering kindergarten in the 23-24 school year. Dual language is a way for students to learn academic content while acquiring another language at the same time. Jacqueline Rodriguez, Director of ESOL and Migrant Programs, joins us today to tell us more about the program and the services she provides with her team to support our students and families. Hi, Jackie.
Hi, how are you?
Or Jackie or Jacqueline?
Usually Jackie.
Okay.
Yep.
So Jackie, it's great to have you here. I'm really excited, as you know, about this program getting started, but I think it's important for you just to give some context and background about our ESOL and Migrant program, and also just talk about like your recent recommendation around changing the name of that department.
Yeah, so our ESOL program, so English for speakers of other languages, is what we navigate. Almost 40% of our student population is coded as an English language learner, meaning they may only speak another language other than English, or they have experience to another language. And so we're on that academic side supporting lots of the instructional pieces to make sure all of our students are proficient. And what we also know is that in a district like ours, every student needs access to academic language. And so all of those strategies that we utilize for our language learners are the things that are really going to move the needle. And then migrant programs is specific to our families that have a migratory lifestyle. Sometimes we interpret that to be immigration, that they're not synonymous in any way. We do have families that work in some raw food processing. They may work in agriculture like harvesting, and so that's what qualifies them. And so our recommendation is to pivot our name to be more inclusive of our district with the multilingualism, and then also really be inclusive of the dual language program, which is also a way of providing ESOL services, but also ensuring that our monolingual students benefit from the superpower of bilingual.
Yeah. No, and I think the way that you describe it as a superpower of being bilingual, because there's so many benefits to being bilingual. And like people like myself, that's one of my great, I know it's not too late, but one of my big, I wish I had like really developed a second language, and that's a goal of mine, is at least to have some conversational ability in a second language. I was in a space or at a conference recently, and they described students who can speak more than one language as linguistically gifted, and that just stuck with me. And I was like, we have to start to say that about our students who can speak more than one language. Which I think is really important when we think about the dual language program. So can you talk about like the sites we'll be at next year and what that first year will look like, and then like long-term, the vision that we've discussed and you've shared with the Board of Education?
Yeah, so the 3 sites are Francis Willard, New Stanley, and Silver City. And they are all within the Harmon cluster, so that we can really think about a K-5 model to a K-8, and then even what does that look like at high school. So I've shared with the board a lot of time, quality over quantity. If we can get it right here, then there's the opportunity to expand and replicate that, not just specific to Spanish, but other languages if we'd like, because we have over 63 languages here in the district. So we have a lot of very gifted children here. So in terms of model, we'll start with kindergarten at 3 of those sites.
All right. And staffing wise, I heard about one of our schools being fully staffed. In fact, we actually have people who are like wanting to come to our district, both employees and students because of that. And so when you think about that and that demand, what are some things that you are like, we need to put in place to make sure that it's supportive and is successful, that you think about? And then how have you thought about messaging that to our community?
Yeah, so actually 2 of our sites are fully staffed, which we're very excited about. We're still, we'll be interviewing in the next couple of weeks, and we have some really strong candidates for that position. But I really think that that idea of grow your own, because the candidates that we do have in the buildings that are fully staffed are either have been in the district for a long time, and some of those candidates that want to come into the program are graduates of the district, and they're already those Spanish speakers. So how can we support them in terms of getting that elementary license? Because I always use myself as an example. While I can lead a program like this, I'm actually not certified to teach that. So there's that advocacy outside of the district. What can the state also do for us to ensure that we're able to get the right licensed staff in these positions? And then just that positivity of the program and ensuring that we have a really solid first year pilot to be able to brag about.
Oh, awesome. So what will a day for a dual language student look like? Just since we're starting with kinder, what would a parent expect to see?
So our cohorts are going to be a mix of Spanish speaking students and then students of English or other languages. So I may have students in my class, I'll have peers that only speak Spanish and I may be an English speaker or vice versa. And so half my day will be spent in Spanish, where we'll do Spanish language arts and math. I'll switch and go with my English teacher, so I will be a language learner there. And I will do English language arts, our science and social studies, and all of our specials at this time will be in English. But ideally, we'll be able to recruit some of those art teachers and music teachers that are also Spanish speakers so that we can extend that there.
Yeah. That sounds like it's going to be a great day for our students, and we look forward to observing and doing that and doing whatever we need to support them. Jackie's department does a lot of things for the district, and we unfortunately don't have enough time to talk about it, but there's lots of information on our website, and we just want to thank Jackie for being here with us today, and we'll have her back next year when the program is off and running to just hear about it, and maybe even have some students and teachers join us. So thank you so much.
Thanks.
We'd like to take a moment to highlight some of the positive stories that take place throughout the day in our schools. Lead Systems Analyst and KCKPS alumni, Melissa Edison, took time out of her busy schedule to read a book that she wrote to students at Douglas Elementary School.
Her name is Monica Lynn. It says, I am 9 years old and I am a computer programmer. Programmers are people that know computer languages. I was talking to my mom and she's like, oh, well, you know, I remember having to go to the computer room and having to work overnight. I was like, wait, I remember going with you overnight. Is that what you were doing? She's like, yeah, I mean, I was the only woman and the only African-American woman for 10 years in my company as a programmer. I was like, wait a minute, let's start over. Say that again? You're gonna need to tell me more about your experiences. And when I started to think about some of the things that I dealt with in 2021, 2022 as a female engineer and working in IT, I realized there was a story to be told. And because I personally love STEM and work in STEM, I decided to start sharing those stories in a young and creative way. I speak multiple languages, not languages like English, Spanish, or French, but computer languages. And computer languages are how programmers make things work. Being a native from Kansas City, Kansas, I had a dance studio here and I worked with lots of young girls and I had an outlet to be creative. But when I relocated to Houston and started to grow my career in the technology space, I got away from it. And that's when I realized that I can coexist and be creative and start writing instead of talking so much. Why don't I just put it down on paper? And what I found during this journey, there are still a lot of adult women who don't understand the careers that exist in STEM. And so the books that I decided to write were informative for the child reader, but also if an adult reader is reading it, I hope that they get inspired to look into careers in STEM. Being in STEM for me is about giving. And so if I can take a girl who is in 7th grade or 4th grade and say, hey, have you thought about being a programmer? And they've never even heard the term. Even if one out of one of my classes per day decides to go that route, I've done my job.
Positive affirmation is so invaluable to you. I want to thank Melissa for coming here and sharing her experiences and success stories with our students. Now in our last segment, How Are the Children? Students have an opportunity to share their thoughts and perspectives about the subjects of their choice. So I have 3 wonderful guests with me today, and I'll ask you to introduce yourselves and just tell us your name, what school you are, what year you're in, and if you're in an academy or a special program at your school, you can share that as well.
Hi, I'm a sophomore at Sumner Academy, and my name is Carissa Figueroa.
Hello, my name is Nevaeh Rosa. I'm from Washington High School and I'm a 10th grader. I'm in Air Force JROTC right now, and that's the only special program I can think of.
Hi, my name's Molly Hickman. I'm a sophomore and I go to Alfred Fairfax Academy.
Okay. Well, thank you for joining me. A couple of you I know because you serve on my superintendent advisory group, and so we have had lots of conversations all year long. One of the things I will just ask in general from the other things that we talked about today on the show, like starting a dual language program and hearing from a board member who was a former teacher, did any of those things like spark anything for you, or do you have questions or wonderings about from those 2 segments before we just dive into open segments?
I mean, I was very excited to hear about the language program. I went to Francis Willard for elementary school, and I think that will be a very good addition to their curriculum, and I think it would have been very helpful and so, when I was there, so I'm glad that it'll be there for future generations.
I'm also very glad for the foreign language program, or the dual language program, excuse me, because we have a lot of different languages at our school, not just Spanish. We have students who speak Swahili. We have a couple foreign exchange students there right now who speak French and German, and it's honestly, I think it would be really great for them and for the students who only speak English to be able to start to be able to reach out to them and communicate with them. So I really like the program.
I really liked what the teacher had to say because, like what she said, maybe like we can do where we don't have to use our zip code and can go to any school that we feel like fits for us, you know. I really liked that, what she said about it. It seemed like she was a pretty good teacher, and we have a lot of pretty good teachers in our district, so yeah.
Yeah, we have a lot of, I think, like you said, pretty good and some great teachers as well that are committed to each of you and your academic success. One of our main goal for each of you is to graduate on time with the Diploma Plus. And some of you, I'm hoping you all know about the Diploma Plus opportunities. So I just want to hear from your perspective, like, is that a reality for you when you graduate? Will you be on track to have a diploma or a Diploma Plus? And if not, what are some of those barriers that we can discuss and figure out how we can ensure that? Because none of you are seniors, so it gives us an opportunity to, like, you know, make it right if we haven't. Yeah.
Currently, I'm on Sumner's full IB diploma program, and so I am on track to graduate at the end of my senior year with both my high school diploma as well as an IB or International Baccalaureate student diploma.
Awesome.
Right now I'm also on track to get my diploma, and I've really enjoyed the Diploma Plus as well, because I know a lot of my friends are right now getting their plus for their Diploma Plus while also being on track, and I feel like the Diploma Plus has added like a little extra sprinkle for them to go out and, like, it's motivated them to reach out into the world and, like, see what they might want to do and then get like a small experience of what's happening there. And for Diploma Plus, it's also a good way to discover resources, because like a lot of the Diploma Plus, they have like, oh, these things will add on or be a part or a plus to your diploma. And some people didn't even know about these things. Like I know the ACT is a plus on your diploma. Yeah. And so some people just didn't even know about it. And that was a resource to lead them there. So awesome. I really enjoy it.
I am on track to get my diploma as well. I'm not really looking into Diploma Plus, but I've seen like my teachers go over it. They have a lot of different money making, ways. And I feel like it could be a good solution. I just feel like it could be a little bit more serious and told to other students because there's a lot of students who really don't care for it. But I feel like there's a lot of opportunities that comes with it. I'm sorry. But yeah, I feel like it honestly could help a lot of students out. Like she said, it has a lot of resources. It has things that we can do and experiences so we can get out there and let our life blossom through, Yeah.
No, I appreciate you all sharing that. It's great to hear that you're all on track, and we'll, ensure that you stay on track to have a Diploma Plus. One of the things I did, as this is the end of the school year, and as a district, we're launching our summer extended summer learning. And for high school students, it looks a lot different. Like historically, it has been more about remediation and having people to catch up. But this summer, we have lots of opportunities for enrichment and for you to be able to do things to ensure you'll graduate with a Diploma Plus. A couple of things we have, and I just want to hear your reaction, and if you haven't thought about it, maybe it'll make you interested in it. We have ACT prep course, like you do all of the prep in June, and then you'll be able to take the ACT in July, and it is complete. All these programs are free. There are opportunities to work and earn money. There is a driver's ed program, in addition to taking your English, math, and sciences. So when I share those things, did you all know about that, or are you planning to go to extended summer learning, or do you have other summer plans?
Sumner admittedly doesn't talk about a lot of the summer plans because we have different programs that we also have. The driver's ed course is particularly exciting. I think it would be exciting for most Sumner students since we aren't really offered or advertised that, and I don't know if the other schools are, but we definitely aren't. And personally, I would definitely look into the driver's ed course. However, I am also doing a lot of other academic enrichment over the summer.
Okay.
I was actually aware of the program beforehand because I have been on the website checking daily almost. And one of the things about the program that really excites me is that you were able to review classes that you've taken, if maybe you didn't do so well, or maybe you did do well and you just want to review it. And one of the things that also really excited me is that sometimes in school, like I know at my middle school, they didn't offer a algebra class, so I couldn't get ahead a year in math like a lot of the other students at my school. So one thing that has really helped me is I could during the summer get ahead and be able to start being directly on track for my diploma, because I know I've looked into the degree I want to go into, and there's a certain level of math classes I need to be at to start my degree, and I'm not there yet, but the summer program will really help me get there a lot quicker than I would if I just took normal classes during the school year.
Okay, awesome.
For me, I'm excited for summer school because I love summer school. Okay. It's honestly learning over the summer and not completely stopping everything that you've learned and relearning it and going to summer school, I feel like it's refreshing. And with the driver's ed, I'm excited for that, especially they're coming to our schools during the summer and providing that for us, especially a lot of students are excited to learn how to drive and it's all free. So I feel like that's very exciting. With summer school, what I'm doing with summer school is I'm going to use summer school for my advantage to earn more credits to graduate early.
Okay, awesome. Well, I'm glad to know that all of you knew about the summer learning opportunities and you have plans. So thank you so much for joining me, and I hope to see you when I'm out in schools this summer and in other spaces as we wrap up the school year. Now, before we close out the program, Mosiah Taylor and Emily Hurd have some district highlights to share with you.
Hello, I'm Emily Hurd.
I'm Mosiah Taylor, and we are from F.L. Schlegel High School.
Here are your district highlights. KCKPS hosted a community focus group session on broadband connectivity. The town hall style gathering took place was part of a larger Kansas Broadband Roadshow sponsored by the Kansas Office of Broadband Development. One of the primary goals of the study is to build the future of the internet, a future that is equitable and accessible for underserved communities in Kansas. The Kansas City, Kansas/Wanda County version of the roadshow allowed residents, community organizers, local state legislators, neighborhood organizations, and school district administrators to dialogue on internet connectivity.
KCKPS students interested in a career in technology got a first-hand look at what the future could hold for them. Harmon, Wyandotte, and Washington High School students visited Garmin, a major GPS navigation and technology company based in Olathe, Kansas. It was all a part of Garmin Fast Track to Tech event. Fast Track to Tech exposed students to multiple entry-level career opportunities at Garmin. Students got to learn about manufacturing, warehouse work, consumer product support, aviation product support, and printed circuit board design. The program is designed for individuals looking for a job in technology, but doesn't require them to have a 4-year degree.
Lindbergh Elementary School is part of a nationwide book donation program. Students received brand new books from the Scripps Howard Fund. They were given copies of the Dogman graphic novel, part of a series by author Dave Pilkey. In the past 7 years, the organization has raised money to buy books for students through its If You Give a Child a Book campaign. Through their collaboration, 250,000 copies of the latest Dogman book have been donated to schools.
And lastly, we want to give a shout out to one of our own staff. Like every other Wednesday afternoon, the staff at Quindale Elementary School gathered at the school's library for professional development, but this time it was for a special announcement. During the meeting, Abby Cole, the behavioral health social worker at the school, learned that she had been named 2023 Kansas Social Worker of the Year. Principal Desiree Albritton made the formal announcement and presented Cole with the award. In front of her co-workers, Albritton said the honor was bestowed upon Cole because of her exemplary work at Quindale Elementary in the Kansas City, Kansas community area. Congratulations, Ms. Cole. And that's a look at what's happening in Kansas City, Kansas public schools.
For more stories like these that highlight the great things that are going on every day in our school district, please take a moment to visit our online newsroom at kckschools.org/newsroom.
I'm Mosiah Taylor.
And I'm Emily Hare. Back to you, Dr. Stubblefield.
Thank you, Mosiah and Emily. I hope you enjoyed this edition of the Super Review. You can watch this program and all of the other content on our KCKPS TV channel 18 on Spectrum, live stream on the district website at kckschools.org, or the district's YouTube channel at youtube.com/KCKPS-TV. I want to thank all of our guests for joining us today and helping facilitate the important discussions around these topics. Until next time, take care and be safe.